Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, coming at you live with a little bit of Star Wars Episode 9 speculation. I know as of the time of this recording, it's way off. It's a couple of years off, whatever it is. What this is really has been spurred on by is a recent Darth Vader comic. Now, I didn't read the comic myself personally. I've seen some videos reviewing it and discussing it and things like that. And one of the elements therein involves a crystal that contains the knowledge, the identities of every Force-capable child in the galaxy. I believe this is, post Revenge of the Sith with Vader, because he kills the old lady in the Jedi Library of Knowledge, or whatever the hell it's called in the comic, in the issue. And there is some question as to what he's going to do with that information. I got the gist without reading the comic again that he was maybe protective of it, trying to keep it away from Palpatine the Emperor. Maybe, maybe not. Feel free to educate me on whatever, misinformation or misunderstanding I have based on that comic, since I did not actually read it myself. But this did get me wondering about what the plot could potentially be for Episode 9 based on elements we saw in Episode 8. Most specifically, the Canto Bight section of the film with the children that Rose and Finn encounter. And then the final shot of the film, spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning, involving one of those children summoning a broom to his hand via the Force. And I started to think, as far as what they could do for a plot line with Kylo Ren having, basically eschewed Snoke, taken him out once and for all, his now ascending to the leadership of the First Order and everything like that. What would be something that would be a little more compelling than just doomsday, 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 I just want to destroy all, a la the Emperor, or subdue all, anything that is an opposing force, destroy it, everyone else, encapsulate and enslave and whatever like that under my rule. Because of how much more impetuous and easy to aggravate, which is an understatement, Kylo is, what would be a much more grandstanding and compelling, sort of directive for him, for the forces of good to want to unite and try to stop him, if not perchance finding this information or seeking this information. I mean, we already know that Luke had a crystal, which I believe was said to be the lightsaber crystal from, Darth Vader's lightsaber or something. It was red, whatever like that. How do we know this isn't actually the information crystal? I'm just saying, just speculating. Probably isn't. But if Luke is in possession of this, how do we know he doesn't have whatever informational crystal there is out there? How do we know that this isn't some, Star Wars level AI that has been collecting information and observing through, an automated thing for so many decades and isn't still collecting this information? How do we know the First Order isn't doing something of a similar accord, whatever like that, which would potentially endanger Force wielders the galaxy over, and might, in the absence of Rey's siding with Kylo, her spurning him and closing herself off to him by the end of Episode 8, The Last Jedi, what would be the impetuous, sort of knee-jerk, reactionary, hateful, spiteful thing that Kylo might want to do next? Rather than rule the galaxy, what if it was to snuff out all potential other Force wielders? Anyone out there who could match, or even better, best, his own powerful capabilities. That, to me, suddenly goes through the roof as far as being compelling. If that information was on the line, if that information was still out there, if it is concurrent, and the lives of kids like that were suddenly to be endangered by Kylo, by the First Order, by whatever other offshoots of the Empire still as yet exists, by the dark side, by dark forces, the Knights of Ren. What would be more compelling and on a much more down-to-earth, relatable level than to jeopardize the lives of so many kids. And in a way, it would be antithetical and an answer to what we saw Anakin wielding in the prequels, killing all those little Jedi younglings, but much more grand in scope. Suddenly, I got goosebumps. I got goosebumps on my goosebumps, like Bugs Bunny once said, at the potential for that. I don't know if that's going to be the direction they take this. I have no idea. But holy hell. Holy effing hell. I'm just so stoked by the potential for that. All of these young, young and old. I mean, Force wielders of all ages, whether it's just Force sensitivity to all out and out, just shy of Rey, Kylo level manipulation of the Force. As we saw Luke capable, as we saw Yoda capable, as we saw Obi-Wan capable, and all this kind of stuff. To suddenly find that those lives are in jeopardy because Kylo just is disgruntled and hateful and spiteful, and nobody out there, everybody's going to turn on me, and nobody's ever going to side with me, so I will destroy all. He doesn't want to lead anything. He wants to destroy everything. And when you make it personable, on a personal, again, down-to-earth level where it's these kids and people of all ages who are, like I talked about in a couple of my videos talking about The Last Jedi, who are now existing in a galaxy where it seems as though the Force has evolved to a point, has become more, sort of ground level, sort of leveled out. It's not so much good versus evil, dark versus light, Jedi versus Sith. There is a gray area. And so, for somebody who is still of the mind of the old school, of the black versus white, of the good versus bad, it would be kind of compelling for him to go back on what he was schooling Rey to do and close off the past, forget your past. It's about what's forward, and to hearken back to the past aesthetics of evil and just wanting to destroy everything and anyone that was associated with that Force capability. I think that is utmost compelling. If that were to be the way they were going to go with it. You could call it like the fate of the Force, or Forces of Destiny, like the little animated shorts that they have on the Disney XD YouTube channel. I'm super stoked by that as a possibility. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you think. If you think it's nonsense, if you don't think that's any which way they're going to be going with Episode 9, but if they were to, would you be excited and compelled by that? Rather than another, supreme Death Star, Starkiller base kind of scenario, what if it was just Kylo, psychotic, megalomaniacal Kylo wanting to kill all Force users? Would that be interesting? More interesting, even. Let me know that in the comments below. Otherwise, that'll be pretty much it from me on this. Just a quick little speculatory video. And yeah, may the Force be with you. I will catch you all later. Peace.